Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of The Smile Code. I'm your host, Dr. AC Kwedu. Today, I want to share a reflection that came to me unexpectedly. My nephew Patrick graduated this weekend. Like many graduations, it was filled with joy, pride, excitement, and hope. Family members gathered, cameras flashed, names were called, and dreams seemed to stretch out before an entire generation. I expected to feel proud, and I did. I was immensely proud. I expected to feel emotional, and I was. What I didn't expect was the overwhelming feeling of peace and knowing, like this was something sacred and ancient. As I sat there watching the procession, listening to the music, the speeches and stories, observing the robes and the ceremony, I felt a strange sense of familiarity. Not familiarity with the people, not familiarity with the place, but familiarity with the moment itself. It was a feeling of recognition, a feeling of remembrance, and it made me wonder, why do certain moments in life affect us so deeply? Why do some experiences seem to touch a place within us that words can barely describe? Why do certain ceremonies feel timeless? I realized this was more than a graduation. When we think of graduation, we often think of education. We think of classes completed, exams passed, degrees earned. But if graduation were only about receiving information, we could simply email everyone a certificate and call it a day. Yet we don't. Instead, we gather. We dress differently. We walk in procession. Music is played. Speeches are given. Families travel long distances. People cry. People celebrate. People pause. Why? Because graduation is not merely an educational event, it is a symbolic and sacred event. It is one of the few remaining initiation ceremonies still widely practiced in modern society. Whether we realize it or not, something deeper is taking place. Throughout history, every culture has recognized that human beings pass through stages of life: birth, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, marriage, leadership, elderhood, death. These transitions were rarely ignored. They were marked with rituals and ceremonies. Why? Because human beings do not simply need information. We need meaning. We need moments that help us understand who we are becoming. Ancient cultures understood something we often forget. A person is transformed not only by what happens to them, but by their conscious recognition of what is happening. Ceremony creates that recognition. It invites us to stop, to pay attention, to acknowledge that something important has changed. As I watched my nephew walk across the stage, I realized that graduation is really about crossing a threshold. On one side stands the person who began the journey. On the other side stands the person who emerges from it. The diploma is symbolic. The real achievement is the transformation, the discipline, the perseverance, the growth. The lessons learned not only in classrooms, but through challenges, disappointments, friendships, failures, and victories. Every meaningful journey changes us, and every meaningful ceremony acknowledges that change. As I sat there, I found myself thinking about medieval universities, ancient scholars, monasteries, guilds, knightly orders. They all share a common thread. They understood that knowledge carries responsibility. The robes, the processions, the formal language, the symbolism. These elements remind us that education is not merely about acquiring knowledge. It is about becoming worthy of what we know. In earlier times, wisdom was not measured simply by what one could recite. It was measured by character, by service, by stewardship, by how one carried oneself in the world. Perhaps that is why these ceremonies still move us. They remind us of something ancient within the human spirit, the understanding that growth is sacred. One of the challenges of modern life is that we have become incredibly efficient. We have learned how to move faster than any generation before us. We have information at our fingertips. We can communicate across continents instantly. We can learn almost anything online. Yet despite all our progress, many people feel disconnected, lost, uncertain of who they are. Perhaps one reason is that we have lost many of the rituals that once helped people navigate life's transitions. We celebrate achievement, but we rarely honor transformation. We reward accomplishment, but we seldom pause to acknowledge becoming. Graduation remains one of the few places where society still collectively says, "You are not who you were." And perhaps that is why it feels so powerful. There are moments in life that seem to suspend time, like holding a newborn child, standing beside the bed of a loved one, watching two people exchange wedding vows, saying goodbye at a funeral, witnessing a graduation. In those moments, something remarkable happens. The noise fades, the distractions disappear, the endless list of tasks and responsibilities momentarily falls away, and for a brief moment, we see life more clearly. We remember what matters. We remember what is precious. We remember that life is not simply a sequence of accomplishments. It is a journey of becoming. This reflection brought me back to the heart of the Smile Code. Know yourself, be yourself, live your purpose. Every meaningful transition in life invites us deeper into that journey. A graduation is not the end of learning. It is an invitation to a new level of self-expression, a new level of contribution, a new level of responsibility. The degree itself is not the destination. The degree is simply a doorway. The deeper question is, who are you becoming? What gifts are you here to share? What unique contribution is yours to make? What purpose is calling you forward? Perhaps the feeling I experienced today was not nostalgia. Perhaps it was recognition. The recognition of a timeless human story. Generation after generation, teacher to student, parent to child, mentor to apprentice. The torch is passed, the journey continues, and each time it does, we are reminded that we are part of something larger than ourselves, something that began long before us, and something that will continue long after we are gone. Maybe that is why certain moments feel sacred. Maybe they awaken a deeper knowing, a quiet awareness that beneath all the noise and complexity of life, there are truths that never change. Growth matters. Character matters. Service matters. Purpose matters. Love matters. And every so often, life gives us a glimpse of those truths. As I left the graduation ceremony, I found myself feeling grateful. Grateful for all the graduates. Grateful for my nephew. Grateful for his journey. Grateful for the opportunities that lie ahead of him. But also grateful for the reminder. the reminder that life is not merely about achieving, it is about becoming. And perhaps the deepest purpose of ceremony is not simply to celebrate success. Perhaps it is to help us remember who we are, to remind us that each of us is crossing thresholds of our own. Each of us is being called into a fuller expression of our gifts. Each of us is participating in the timeless journey of becoming. And every now and then, if we are paying attention, a moment arrives that feels less like learning something new and more like remembering something ancient. If today's reflection resonated with you, I invite you to consider a simple question. Who are you becoming? Not what are you achieving, not what are you accumulating, not what are you accomplishing, but who are you becoming? Because the most important journey you will ever take is not the journey outward into the world. It is the journey inward toward your authentic self, and then outward again into a life of purpose, contribution, and meaning. That journey is at the heart of Smile Mastery. Smile Mastery is more than confidence, more than personal development, more than self-improvement. It is a framework for aligning who you are, how you show up, and the purpose you are here to live. If you are ready to deepen that journey, I invite you to explore the Smile Mastery Starter Course. Together, we'll explore the foundations of authentic living through the Smile Code principles of know yourself, be yourself, live your purpose. You can learn more at thesmilemasterycentre.co. And whether you join us or not, my hope is that today's episode reminds you that life is not simply about getting somewhere. It is about becoming someone, the person you were always meant to be. Until next time, keep smiling, keep growing, keep becoming, and above all, know yourself, be yourself, live your purpose. This is Dr. A.C. Quaidu signing off from the Smile Code.